Welcome back to art class. Just a reminder, please make sure you do the last assignment where you do a quick drawing and you take a picture of it and you send it to me so that I know you how to do that. Today, what we're going to focus on is a style of art called op art, and it is actually Victor Vasarely is one of the major artists, and so is Bridget Riley. Both of them had slightly different ways of doing it, but had stunning results, and I will show you some of the different kind of art as the video goes along. For today, you need just a few items. You're gonna need a piece of paper. Mine is 8.5 by 11. It's just a normal printer paper. If you could go like 9 by 11 or 9 by 12, that's probably a smidge better. But I'm just doing regular printer paper because a lot of people have it at home. Pencil, a ruler that has inches, by the way. You're gonna need 2 stencils of circles. I'm using an old cup and I'm using a butter dish. If you have a small plate, that would work, and they have to be big enough to fit on. So I'm gonna use the bottom here for a circle, and then I'm gonna use the flip side of this for a circle, just so you have an idea. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. Just try out your circles first. You don't want them going off the page, and you don't want them overlapping. So I have mine in place. This is actually not a bad placement, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Hold it down. Good. Plates work if you have a paper plate or even a real plate. Like that, and then I'm just gonna erase that part. Okay, notice it's not touching any of the edges, and they're not touching each other. Next, I'm gonna need my ruler. I'm on the inches side, and what I'm gonna do is put the 0 of my ruler right there, and I notice that my paper is 11 inches long. And really close to the top, I am going to just put a mark at every inch. So I'm putting a mark at 1, putting a mark at 2, and notice my marks are actually little dots. They're not lines, they're little dots. That way I know it can connect the dots really easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. All right, and if you notice, you're actually doing only 1 through 10. Number 11 does not need to be done because it's the edge of the paper. I'm going to slide my ruler close to the bottom of the paper, not all the way off, but close. And I'm going to do the same thing. Do not turn your paper around. It's got to be just pushed down. Okay, next part is we're going to use a ruler to connect the dots and make a nice straight line. There is some stuff you need to watch, so watch how I do this before you do it. I'm gonna connect the dots with the ruler, take my time, make sure it's all lined up. I'm actually gonna start at the top of the page, go through the dot, skip over my circle, all the way to the bottom of the paper. And that's what I'm gonna do to every single line. This project will take 2 weeks, so we'll do all the drawing to this week, and then we will do coloring and some other work next week. Okay, put it away there. Next, what I need to do is bend the lines that are going to be inside of the circles. If the line, like this line, it's on the left side of the circle, so when I bend that line, it would be bending slightly to the left. Now it's really close to the edge, so I don't want to go over the edge. Same thing here, right there, right there. So I'm going to bend the line to the left. there, there. I'm gonna bend it to the left. Now, if you notice, this line is over on the right-hand side, so you guessed it, you're going to bend it to the right. Same goes for these. Like that. So that's the first part. Now, the next part is you're going to turn your paper, and it's going to go up and down. This one's a smidge harder because the measurement wasn't going to be even. So we're going to need to make some other lines. So at the top of our paper here, I am going to line up my 0 here, and notice that my paper is only 8.5 inches. So we're going to have a sliver on the side. I'm going to put a mark at each inch. Again, it's a little dot, like so. Then I'm gonna move my ruler back down to the bottom without turning it around. Do the same exact thing. Okay, notice again, you're gonna have that little sliver on the side. And we're gonna repeat the same process we did before. So we're gonna take our ruler, connect the dots, and then draw a line, and I'm gonna skip over the circle. Draw a line, skip over the circle. Now for this project, it is important that you make sure this ends up in a nice grid. So if you notice, it turns into little squares in the background. It's important that they're squares and they're not tilted or leaning. That could be a really big distraction and will ruin your picture. So if it does get screwed up and you're really starting to lean, flip your paper over and restart. Now, we do have to do the bending of the lines for these. So what I'm gonna do is, this is why, one of the reasons why I mark them. So I can remember where they are. Now this one is actually almost dead center. Since it's pretty much in the center, what I'm gonna do, because it's not to the left, it's not to the right, I'm actually gonna let that one be perfectly straight. Not everybody's gonna have one of those, but this one worked out that way. Now this is on the right, so again, make it go to the right. Same thing for this one. This one's still on the left side, so I'll make it go to the left. Like so. They kind of look like disco balls when you get finished. And this is where we're going to leave it for today. Next week we'll deal with coloring and things like that. There's a little bit of a pattern work that needs to go with it. All right, and we'll see you next week.